Hey everyone, so last night I was like, alright, I should probably put a video out, because I'm trying to upload more consistently, and I'm like, well, I genuinely don't know what to do, because there's been a big project I've been working on, but I'm currently working on editing that, so expect that in a few days, but I'm like, you know what, let's go play some Blitz and see what happens, and sure enough, got, got paired up against an international master, and I know it's not quite the prestige of Grandmaster, but still very, very strong player, and yeah, let's just go see how it went. C4. Y'all know what time it is. This is the English time. And we end up transposing into a Dutch, which I've never been a big fan of it as the black side. And, here I was looking to be like, okay, well, how do I exploit it? Because I always talk about how I don't really like the Dutch, but, now I actually have to play against it. So I go for this E4 plan, where the point of it is just to try and break apart this really strong wave of pawns. And pretty much development goes by, he gains the center a bunch, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't really want to go here because that just loses a pawn and nowhere else looks good. So we're going to maybe pressure this pawn here. He moves his queen, very common Dutch idea, because the queen goes here and then usually like somewhere along here, but he's escaping the pin, very smart move. And so I'm like, wait a minute, can't I just take here and then fork him? So yeah, that was my general game plan on the other. Let's try and fork an international master, and he took my knight, and I was like, wait, he can do that? I was like, oh my gosh, he just gave me in exchange. And then by this point I realized, wait a minute, he's smarter than me. I'm gonna turn off. And he takes. I take back, and he develops his bishop. Now, pretty much what he's doing is that whenever his bishop moves out, he's going to go and take my knights. Now, here I was like, okay, is there any way for me to be able to get my knight out? Because then I would just be completely up in material against an international master. So I go here. Point being, I want to stop this because, obviously I'll just take. And if he goes with the plan like this, my plan was just to go here. So my plan was just to go here, and after takes, I'd have takes, and there would be good compensation. But he went here, and I'm like, okay, the knight's lost. Let's just go give it back. I'm not entirely certain why I chose to go here instead of like here to mess up his pawns, but yeah, that's strange of me. But regardless, give back the piece. I leave. He puts his knight here. He is looking to go here, maybe here. So I put my queen here. Point being, I just don't want to get into any shenanigans along this file. I want to guard this, and I'm probably going to try and play on the queen side. So his queen comes in, looking to put pressure here, looking to probably drop a knight here. So let's say I move my queen, which would be a terrible move. There could be a reality where this happens, and suddenly I'm just getting mated, and that's not great. So what happens is I went with this really creative move, f4, and point being, now my rook's joined in, and after en passant happens, I'm trading off my really good bishop, which isn't great positionally, but I've simplified it a lot, and now all they have to do is just like hold, and I should have to get like these pawns connected and just gotta use my rooks. So he attacks my rook, I attack his bishop, he attacks my rook, I attack his bishop, and he attacks my pawn. Yeah, whole sequence there, but this guy, there's a reason he's an international master. He's very, very, very good technique, and I'm like, okay, what do I do? So I double rooks. I don't have a choice but to give up a pawn, and I start bringing my king in. I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do, so let's just go and like run here. All my rooks are at a good place. So, but obviously if he attacks a pawn, I do have to defend it. He offers a rook trade. I'm not going to take that because a rook trade will just help him a lot. Like in endgames like this, where he has the bishop pair versus one rook and I physically can't defend this pawn. Like, I might be able to get some activity, but this is just worse. Like, I need... A bishop pair is so much better than a rook. So I'm worse here, don't get me wrong, but I need to keep pieces on the board so that I have a chance of compensation. So I need both my rooks to be able to maybe line up and get some, dangerous ideas. Check. He moves forward, and I go with the plan, making sure to keep this defended, and I'm controlling a lot of squares. He puts his bishop here, not entirely certain of why, maybe to offer rook trade? I don't know. I bring my king in, he takes a pawn, and I go here. Oh yeah, that was his idea. This game happened a bit ago. It was go here to cut off my rook. Very, very good technique. He brings his king in, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to start pushing pawns. So he attacks my bishop. I move it. He checks me, and at this point, I'm like, I reach here, and I'm like, I'm fucked. I'm like, there's no way I can win this. He has more time than me. He has a better position. He's an international master. Yeah, so he checks me. I move here. No choice. He checks me again, and I go this way. I'm like, honestly, we're just going to try not to get mated. And he takes here, but suddenly, if you haven't noticed, I have more time now. And that's going to play a big factor, but suddenly I have quite a bit more time than him. And so I give him a check. He moves. I blunder a rook. It's blitz. He moves. And I'm like, okay, we got the king out in the center. He didn't notice I blundered a rook, so, maybe he's pretty bad at the game. Or rather, we're just both very low on time. And I'm like, maybe I can draw. So he goes here, and I'm like, wait a minute. I check, and then I win a pawn, and I'm just like, wait a minute. Because he moves here, and then I'm like, holy shit. He just blundered. Because suddenly, when the king moves, I get his bishop. And now, as for why I didn't take with here, I was semi-concerned about maybe some ideas like here. And I guess I get here, but I don't know. I just was like, yeah, let's just go pressure, set if anything ever moves, I go here. He attacks my pawn. I check him. He moves, and I go back down. He goes after this, and I guard it. Point being, he goes here. Let's say I make, I don't know, let's say a random sequence moves happens. I take here, here, and here. He has some serious play. And this pawn can never really move forward because then there's discoveries. So I guard it. He pushed the pawn. I check him. He moves, and I go here, and then suddenly he has 2 seconds. And so he pushed the pawn. I check him, and he runs out of time. And I was completely winning by that point. And yeah, so being an international master, and in a few days there'll be a pretty quality upload. So no more of these really like goofy game recaps. So yeah, have a good day, everyone.